Shalom. All praises go to the Most High Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Yahweh. Wadash da Balana, unto the elder apostles, a great millstone for the teachings of the scriptures, among other things. Shalom to the sincere Hakim. Of course, well, then check this out. I was looking up pictures of Paula Abdul because, listen, back in the days, right? I thought that this was some kind of Latin chick, and I thought something, so-called black was in there. Of course. Because that's what she looked like, and I didn't have the internet. A lot of people didn't have the internet to look up stuff. So these so-called celebrities, you only saw them once in a while, And now you could just look at pictures of them if you want to. You could dig down their ancestry and all that type of stuff. But anyway, I was looking up stuff. I don't know if I haven't had it beginning of this year, maybe last year. I looked it up, then I was shocked. That's when I found out. Either it was this year or last year. But yeah, that's when I found out, right? So this is her mother. Looks straight up like a Latin chick. This one, she looks like a Latin chick because she's actually browner than her mother, but she got it from her father. And then, let me see here. Well, here. As you can see, she's kind of as brownish as her father. Here again, I wouldn't even say brown. I would say just, a layer of melanin, I would say. Right? This one looks kind of, they look different. They look somewhat brownish. It's like Alicia Keys. Alicia Keys, if she's in the wintertime, she could get pale. I've seen a few pictures of us like, oh. But then I see other pictures where she's actually darker than all of these. So she's like a chameleon. She can change. And I see multiple people like that. I even get darker in the summer. So it's nothing special, nothing serious. A lot of people have that. Certain people, they stay dark all year round. And certain people, they stay pale all year round. Again, dark brown. And then here, but anyway, this picture here again, where is it? Sorry, this one. They look like two Latin people, but they're not. But let me read a little bit. Oh yeah, the thing of this video is that there's two Syrians. You have the Syrian of Shem. Sorry, you have the Syrian of Aram, and then you have the Syrian of Arphaxad, which it is not a contradiction, but if you just look at it as what I just said, it is a contradiction because it says here, Genesis chapter 10 verse 22, the children of Shem, Elam, and Shur, which is the Assyrian Empire, and Arphaxad, which is the bloodline of Abraham, eventually, and Ludins, but there are three Ludins, which is the Ludians from Shem, then the Ludians from Put, and then the Ludians from Mizraim, but that's another story. But there are two. You could see one from Ham, well, two from Ham actually, and one from Shem. Going on. And Aram. This is then Syrian, right? This is the forefather of all the Syrians, so-called Syrians. And Esau is the one that changed that name, but I'll get to that later, Lord willing. I got it right here. Okay, so now going to, where did I have what? Here, I think. No, okay. Okay, so basically you have here Arphaxad, and then you have Aram, right? Abraham comes from this one, and of course the Syrian Empire comes from the Aramites. Comes from Aram, which are the Aramites, right? But you have another Aram, which is the landmass Aram. So it looks kind of confusing. But Lord willing, I'm going to get to it, right? Okay. So now, wait a minute. I'm thinking. Let me see here. Okay. Here. Okay, so now this is Genesis 11. Verse. Okay, I won't read this. I'll just glance over it. So here you have Arphaxad, the bloodline of Arphaxad, right? Through Shem. Then Salah, then came Eber. So everyone that comes after Eber is a Hebrew. Hebrew Pelagites, Hebrew Luites, I don't know how you say that. Zerugites, Nahor, the people from Nahor, that one, I don't even want to call it Nahorites, but you know. But the point is here, you have millions of Hebrews outside of the Hebrew Israelites, because Eber, it is said that he begat sons and daughters, but they're not really mentioned like that, you know, but he has them. And then Peleg, he also begat sons and daughters, right? But the chosen bloodline of him went through his son Reu, right? And then Reu also got sons and daughters. Mind you, after Eber, everyone is a Hebrew. The ones that are plainly known to be that, but still are not called often Hebrews, which is Hebrew Ishmaelites, Hebrew, what's it again? Hebrew Edomites. Those are the most well known, but Hebrew Ammonites and Hebrew Moabites also, because if you go on, it says here Nahor. Nahor. This is Haran. Haran is a Hebrew. Abraham the Hebrew, Nahor the Hebrew, Haran the Hebrew. Haran died, but he had a son named Lot. And Lot is the father of Ammon and Moab, or Moab and Ammon, one of those two. Yeah. And therefore, they are also Hebrew Moabites and Hebrew Ammonites, because they came from the same man, Eber. This is the bloodline of Arphaxad, right? Okay. So what did Arphaxad do? Arphaxad, his bloodline, went to the land of Aram. So see what I mean with their two Arams? Okay, but I'll read on. So now it says here, okay, so they were in the land of the Chaldees, Ur of the Chaldees, right? Which is, I think, here. This one here, Ur. If you can see it, here. Okay, this whole land over here, and you have to understand, people used to travel within themselves, meaning a group of people of the same ancestry, I think, ancestry of parentry. I don't know how you say it. Let me see, ancestry or same people. You know, same people. They used to live with one another within one place. That's how people used to be. Until this day, you still have it. To a certain degree, that you still have it. It's only when you come to West Europe and only when you come to America, then you will see like different nations all across the places, stuff like that. But if you go to these other places like East Europe and different places within the Netherlands itself, you're going to see more Edomites, more one people. And then you have for example, India, you don't see a lot of mixed breeds over there. You don't see them like that. They don't do that, you know. They don't really mix up like that. The Asiatic people neither. Either they with Esau or they with themselves, and they don't really do it neither like that neither, you know. So yeah. And a lot of the Africans don't do it neither, by the way. It's the Jacob descendants that love doing it. Anyway, so going on back to over here. So it says here, okay, so now comes the other type of confusion. Okay, wait, let me read this here because I'm all over the place actually. Okay, check this out. So it says right here, Paula Abdul parents, Harry Abdul and Lorraine Abdul? Rikis, okay. Her father was a businessman of Syrian Jewish heritage. So he's from Aram. But it says that he is an Amalekite born in Aram. That's basically what it says, because it says right here, Jewish heritage, born in Aleppo, and Aleppo is a land in Aram. This is a city in Aram. This was, of course, this was during the war. Of course, this was before the war. Yeah, that's another place, right? I think. Okay, this is enough, right? So he was born in the land of Syria, which is the land of Aram, which is, you know, Damascus and stuff like that in the scriptures is known as Aram, right? Okay. Esau renamed it into Syria. Let me read this verse. I'll put the link in the description box so you can check it out for yourself. Now it says right here, the names. This is from a so-called. This is a whole page of a lot of so-called scholars of the Edomites, and then you have a lot of so-called Aramean scholars there for the rest. For the rest part, their pictures, their quotes, land which spoke the language of the children of Aram, right, and so forth. You can go on pictures if you have pictures, you know. And yeah, but anyway, these are the Edomite scholars. So that these Edomites, they highly regard Greek philosophers and Flavius, Josephus. Okay, all that there. Okay, the names Syria, Assyria, Mesopotamia, Babylon, etc. stem from the Greeks, who were not familiar with the true geography of these lands when the names first started to be used among them. Later, partially because of continued ignorance, that's it, and partially because of convenience despite having accurate knowledge, just like they keep on calling us Black Hebrew Israelites, Black! Even though we tell these filthy apes, it's actually the so-called Negros, Latinos, and Indianos, but what they do is they try to divide because they're devils like that. You know, because they wanted to force it to be, first and foremost, a black thing, and second, consciously and subconsciously, they don't want you to be associated. They don't want you to associate the Latinos and the Native Americans. They don't want you to associate them with you. You know, because they are all about that separation. And I met people, the so-called Dominican. Let me see. Just people from outside of the so-called black-looking people, right? And they also think that until I tell them, like, no, you're a part of it. You are, and so, and then they get it, because what they have been taught and told is not what it's not the truth, and it's not what they thought, you know. But anyway, let me go on, because Esau he's the snake-tongued devil, and he knows what he's doing, and some of them don't. They're just stupid. So it says right here, they persisted in using them since it would have required something of an effort to give up the old familiar names. It's an effort, to tell the truth. Give up the old familiar names and divisions of the countries, because they wanted to divide them. Therefore, they gave them these names so that they wouldn't be together, and therefore they would eventually start distancing themselves from one another. You have a group, not a lot. You have a group the south of North America, you know, still America, but the south of America, right? You have a group of so-called black people that call themselves Creoles. And they say stuff like, yeah, if you don't have white within you, French and all that, then you ain't no Creole. I'm like, what the fuck? And a dark-skinned woman was actually joining forces with them in the group chat. Boy, they was talking, boy, let me see if I can get it. But wait. Right, so you have this group over here, which she's also a numbskull. She has her eye dyed, contact lenses and shit. They can't stand looking at themselves and be like, this is me. they can't. Look at her here. It's the same female, you know. Anyway.
Community and Louisiana community in general. Let's talk about this group right here. This Facebook group, Proud to be Louisiana Creole. This young lady here.
Okay, she joined, right? She looked like a so-called Judite and stuff like that, so-called dark-skinned woman, right?
A dark-skinned
Is she too?
woman.
That's the fucking weird shit. But anyway.
She made a post in the article dance, and that's that community.
I'll put the link in the description box so you can check it out for yourself. So, and this one says, are you a Haitian? So this one has the same scholar as this one. But to be called a Haitian amongst, I know this for the Dominicans. I didn't know this about them. These so-called Louisiana Creoles, these nothings. I didn't know it about them. I knew it about the Dominicans. When they want to cuss out each other, so 3 Dominicans are fighting amongst each other, then one calls the other one a Haitian, and then they fight. And then they fight. Because those are fighting words to them. Being called a Haitian is a very disrespect. It's like being called a nigger, you know.
But you know, some little microaggression. Assumed that she was Haitian because she dark skinned. Let's take a look at some more comments. But you have to be mixed with Spanish or French.
So you have to be basically a caucus. You gotta have the conquist, the rape system. You gotta have it in your system in order for you to be accepted amongst them. This is fascinating. But anyway, I wouldn't be able to be around these people because I know that we are not all the time, but the word Creole, it does not mean what the fuck it means in Louisiana. There, no. Around us, you don't say that shit, boy. That's what I'm telling you, man. One word in one part of the world means something totally different than another part of the world. God damn this! I found out about this, but anyway, I'll leave the link in the description box so you can check it out for yourself. But what happened here? The division. That's the thing what happened, and then they would separate themselves from another, and another even darker than her. Let me see if she's gonna say it, but
that's what makes Creole.
I need to know.
Creole. Some whatever else they said.
You're a black woman that wishes beautiful thing. You need to be of a conquistador and the other raping ass French. Basically, that's you. You need to have that within you. Either that is your forefather, or that is within your blood and stuff like that. So this is crazy. This is some crazy shit. Anyway, so she went and looked up. I can't look at her fucking face with that goddamn lens on. I can't do it. I can't. This bitch. So she was talking about. She was the one that was talking shit about the other so-called black woman. But look at her. This is some crazy shit. This makes no, but whatever. Anyway, from where whether you culturally, racially, okay. Anyway, so this is the dividends that they have amongst themselves over there. Louisiana Creole. I know of Mia X and stuff. She kind of does look like Mia X. When Mia X was younger. Mia X, real hair. Well, here I don't know if this one is a real hair. Anyway, so I know about her, and she was a little bit thicker, forcer, I should say, and I get her in my head when I see this one. She was talking about that region over here, or Orlando or something. What was it again? Boy, I forgot. Boy, Louisiana, something like that. Whatever. Maybe it was the. You know what? I'm not gonna look it up right now. I kind of forgot. But let me just leave that. So this is what they're doing. Esau is doing this, and then now they're doing it themselves. By the way. But yeah, anyway, so it says here, later because of continued ignorance and partially because of convenience, despite having accurate knowledge, they persisted in using them since it would have required something of an effort to give up the old familiar names and the visions of the countries and switch to the new ones, even if they were more accurate. Just accurate, not more. The old, true, and single name of these lands is Aram. So what is called Aram? Syria, Assyria, Mesopotamia, Babylon. All called Aram. That is the thing. That's the original name of the land. And you can see it here too, Numbers chapter 22, verse 5. He, Balak, sent messengers therefore unto Balaam. He is the Shemite. And Moab is the king of Moab. Balak is the Moabite. Right? And Balaam is the... I think he's from FX. He's from that region. I'll just say that. Okay, the son of Beor to Pethor, right? Which is by the river, Euphrates, of the land of the children of his people, to call him, saying, behold, there is a people. Right, so to call him, saying, behold, there is a people come out of Mizraim. Again, that's their word. So the word here, it says here, Exodus 20:2, I am Yahweh thy power, which brought thee out of the land of Mizraim. That's what it says. It doesn't say Egypt, because Egypt doesn't exist. They created it. Because it shows you right here, Mizraim. So it says Hebrew 4714. And then here, which only comes 4 times in the Bible, Egypt becomes is Hebrew 4714, and it is like 616 times in 558 verses, but it's more because it says also sometimes it's written Egyptians or stuff like that. I think Egyptians, yeah, right. So it's more, but the individual word itself, Egypt, like spelled like this, comes forth 611 times in the Bible, and Mizraim only comes forth 4 times in the Bible. So what did they do? They changed the name so that now Egypt is associated with a place. Because if I say Egypt, you're going to think of pyramids, you're going to think of, especially, you're going to think of sand and the brownish sand color and stuff. Like, you're going to think of that because that is what it's been programmed, and they're very good at what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They're masters of manipulation. They're master manipulation. They're manipulative. They can make you think things by saying certain words. Trigger words and stuff like that. Okay, cool. So yeah, they changed that. But anyway, so it says here, out of the house of bondage. That's not what Mizraim means. Land of the cups and stuff like that, but it's actually, if you look up where they got that name from, right, it says here I think I had it somewhere else here actually. Egypt means, okay, yeah, here, okay, let me get this one here. So it says here, Egypt, the name Egypt comes from the ancient Greek, like I just read here. They named them. Greek word Egyptos, sorry, which itself derives from the ancient Mizraim phrase Hawat Kapat, meaning house of Ka, soul of or the house of Ka, soul of Pata, or Patat, yeah, Hawat Kapata, yeah. That's actually what it goes into, which is going into Chemet or Kemet, the Black Land, all that type of stuff. But because they changed the meaning of words, so now the translation is not lost, but you will be directed into something. You could be directed into something else, right? So wait. Okay, I'll just leave this here. So yeah, that's what they did also here, right? And then I'm going back to over here. Okay, go get this one. So the point is, these lands were called Aram, and what lands were that? That is then there for these lands. So this was called the land of Aram, all this region, what you see in the green, because he said that his people was living in the place of the rivers, which is a whole big region from Ur all the way to Carchemish and stuff like that. Okay, cool. But this is called Aram. And the land Haran is also called, the village Haran is also called Aram. Because here you can see it, for example. Here you have Haran, but the region is called Padan Aram. Naharaim. Okay, so Padan Aram is the block, you could say, just like how you have New York, and then within New York you have Brooklyn and stuff like that. Haran is just like that, right? Okay, so now going back to over here. Right. So okay. So now I hope you understand what I'm doing. Let me go on. Genesis chapter 22 verse 20. And it came to pass after these things that it was told Abraham, saying, Behold, Milcah, she had also borne children unto thy brother Nahor. Now Milcah is mentioned here in Genesis 11. Milcah, the daughter of Haran. And Haran died. And he had a daughter named Milcah, right? This one, the daughter of Haran, Milcah. And Milcah was Nahor's wife. And Nahor is the brother of Abraham. I'm not going to go into this one. Isca. I'll leave that for now. Maybe another time. I already talked about it, but I don't want to talk about it right now. But Sarai, it doesn't even mention Sarai here. Yeah, but it doesn't mention where she comes from. But anyway, you know, Esau's little thing. Okay, going on. By the way, this is the only time you will ever read this word in the entire Bible, and they on purpose don't have a lot of information on this one. You know, go figure. But if you read the other scriptures and stuff like that, you're gonna get a kind of idea like who that is. I'll show a few right now, as examples, right? So, saying, behold, Milcah, she had borne children unto thy brother Nahor, right? Okay. And by the way, Nahor and Milcah are family members. From the same, let me see here. So Milcah is the daughter of Haran. Haran is the brother of Nahor. Nahor took Milcah as wife. That's what I mean. Okay. So 21. So Genesis 22 and 21. Again, I'm gonna say it again. This video is talking about there are two Syrians. So 2 times 2 Syrians or 2 Aramites. The one is the bloodline of Aram. The one is the one living in the region of Aram called Aram. But he's not Aram. He's just called that because of the land. Like, you call yourself an American, you call yourself a European, but you're not from there. You were brought there. And when the Europeans see you, then they know, like, well, you just live here. You're not really, you're not this race, that according to them, even though they're not the real Europeans in the first place anyway. But just to make you understand what I mean at this moment in time. Okay, 21, Huz, because Japhet is the original Europeans. Okay, going on. 21, Huz, his firstborn, and Buz, his brother, and Kemuel, the father of Aram. So here comes the third Aram, and he is then the father of the other Aramites, but they are of Hebrew. They are Hebrews, all of them. Everyone here is a Hebrew. That's the point, because they all come from the same father, Terah, which comes from, where did I put it here? Which come from Eber. Where is it? Here. And then of course they all came from Arphaxad. But anyway, go back over here. And Kadesh, and Hazo, and Pildash, and Jidlab, and Bethuel. And Bethuel begot Rebekah. This is the mother of Jacob. And this is the wife of Isaac. So they're also family, because Abraham had a son named Isaac, and Nahor had a son named Bethuel. So Bethuel got Rebekah. So Isaac is one family grade above Rebekah, meaning she's like, uncle? Something like that? I don't know how you say it in the English, but yeah. He is our uncle, and she is his nephew. Same thing with Nahor and Milcah. Same thing. So that's already 2 family members, right? And then you have another one, which is Jacob and Leah. Jacob and Leah and Rachel. That's also family. Because we kept it in the family back in the days. Until today, because if you sleep with a so-called black woman or Latin woman or Native American woman, that's actually your sister. You're fucking your sister, man. It's your sister from one of your forefathers. That's your sister, actually. Even if you have a so-called black woman as your wife, that is your sister. Even the Edomite female. But they're cut off from being brother and sister and stuff like that. But in the flesh, that is your sister. You can take that how you want to. Through the spirit, they cut off. Now going on. So now Rebecca is okay. Cool. Let me go on. So it says right here, Genesis 24 and 1 until 4. I don't need to read this actually. I'll just go to the point. Let me see here. 3. Genesis 24 and 3. And Abraham said, "When I will make thee his servant," where's that? Here. "His eldest servant. I will make my eldest servant swear by Yahweh, the power of heaven and the power of the earth, that thou shalt not take a wife unto my son Isaac, of the daughters of the Canaanites among whom I dwell, because he was sent to the land of Canaan." Oh, I didn't put it there. Okay, cool. Here. Genesis 12 and 1. And Yahweh said unto Abram, "Get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred and from thy father's house unto a land that I will show thee." So where did he come from? He went from Ur of the Chaldees, and the Heavenly Father told him, I'm gonna send you to go to the land of Canaan. And he and his father and Sarai and Nahor came unto Haran, Padan Aram, but the place Haran is a village, but it was in Padan Aram, and dwelt there. So they stayed there, right? And the days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. So Haran is a place, but it's also a name of his son that died, by the way, because he died. Haran died before his father in the land of his nativity, in Ur of the Chaldees. He died there. And then they went to Haran, which is in Padan Aram, which is right. So that's here, Padan Aram, and then he went from Haran. Okay, then you have here, for example, here. So Jacob went. Well, this actually, this is another one, but don't mind the Beersheba thing. But anyway, so from here. And then he went to Haran, and then he came back. But this is a little bit better, I think. Where was it? Abraham went from there too. That's why I said don't pay attention to that one. So the blue here, he went to Haran, Padan Aram. And then, of course, later on he came back. I don't know if you could see it. But yeah, I just want to use the red then. Just this one then. Actually, it was there, I think, if I'm correct. Anyway, let me go on. Okay, so that's where it is, which is Haran. He went there. Okay, so among whom I dwell. So thou shalt not take a wife of the Canaanites among whom I dwell, but thou shalt go unto my country and to my kindred, and take a wife unto my son Isaac. Genesis 25:15. And it came to pass, before he had done speaking, that behold, Rebekah came out, who was born to Bethuel, which is this one. This Bethuel. But where did he stay? Bethuel stayed in Aram. But he's in Hebrew. Nahor stayed in Aram. But Bethuel was born there. And Rebekah also, of course. So, who was born to Bethuel, the son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, with her pitcher upon her shoulder. So, Bethuel is the father of Rebekah, and Rebekah has been sought out by Abraham through his eldest servant, because Abraham told him to do that, and he did. Genesis 25:20. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel the Syrian of Padan Aram. See? Now it says here Syrian, so now you think like, oh, it's Aram. Yeah, it's Aram, but it's not Aram. It's just like this one. Job 1 and 1, which is, there was a man in the land of Uz, whose name was Job. So who's that? Who's Uz? Uz is Genesis 10 and 23. And the children of Aram, Uz. So where did Job stay? He was also in the land of Aram, right? That doesn't make him that. It does. He's not an Aramite. He's an Israelite. He's a Jacob descendant, but he was living there because, you know, a lot of our people did live there and stuff like that. Did I click it away? I clicked it away, didn't I? Yeah. Okay. So, okay. Right. So again, Genesis 25 and 20. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel the Syrian of Padan Aram, the sister to Laban the Syrian of Padan Aram. So this is the Syrian that it was mentioned that, let me see here, what's this? No, I'll get to that. This is the Syrian where it mentions that Deuteronomy 23 and 7, thou shalt not abhor a Syrian. They're lying to you here. Just like they're lying to you here once more. Check this out. Why do you put a Greek word in the Old Testament? Why are you doing that? Hey, Dumia. Why? I know I spelled it wrong, but it's gonna fix it up anyway, you know. Yeah, but I know why. Because what they're doing is, let me see here. Yeah, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. It's influence. Shut up. You are translating stuff into the English. Why are you using this word? Because listen. Back in the days, it would be very hard for you to understand what this actually meant without you having a compact Bible dictionary. But you don't go reading the Bible as if, like, with the mindset of, we need a dictionary for this, we need to understand. You don't do that because he's a deceiver. You don't even know that you're being tricked. Nowadays we look up stuff, but back in the days you wouldn't do that except the Heavenly Father put that spirit on you to go look it up. That's another reason why I believe that the Heavenly Father came on the scene in 2007 on his spirit on YouTube, and their first name was Great Millstone. It wasn't GMS, but anyway, they shorted it off. That's just a shortage of the name. Anyway, it speaks about the destruction of Edom here in these 4 scriptures over here. You can read it for yourself if you have the time, but they changed these words. They changed the word Edom on purpose because they don't want it. They didn't want people to see like, hey, what? No, they gonna know that they're gonna know that that's the twin brother of Jacob. Why is he set in future prophecy to be destroyed? What's going on? And then people will start trying to figure it out, digging. That's why you don't see a lot of movies about Esau. I have one actually here, which is this one.
If I wanted to kill you, I could have done it already. Or do you think I missed my aim? You just remember I've never missed in my life. Twice.
This is a hairy ass chest. It's somewhat accurate.
No, I've been cheated. You stole my rights of primogeniture.
But it was your doing. You traded them for something to eat.
You miserably took advantage of a starving man. You helped yourself to the blessing of my father. The blessing that rightly belonged to me.
I'm going now, Esau. It's your responsibility to lead the tribe now. I'm leaving.
And never come back. I don't want to see you again. This is what I came to tell you. Don't return. Don't return ever again.
Wait a moment, Esau. You mustn't say words like that. The Lord appeared to me in a dream last night.
Okay, cool.
I saw a sense the Lord give the care promised you.
And I'll show you. Jacob, let me see you here again. And I'll show you what it is to have to fight like a man. Because I'll be here and I'll be waiting to kill you, Jacob.
Right, so what's going on there in that little scene over there? It's somewhat mentioned here, but it's not like that. You know. Anyway, it doesn't mention it like that. It mentions this. Genesis 25 and 33. And Jacob said, "Swear to me this day," and he sware unto him. Esau sware unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and they did eat. And he did eat and drink and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. So, what does despise mean? Despise, in the etymology, it means to look down, scorn, disdain, treat with contempt. He hated it, basically. It doesn't actually mean hate. The original meaning of it is he looked down on it, like, this is beneath me. This is worthless. I don't actually have any value toward it. You know, stuff like that. He looked down on it, right? That's the original meaning. You can add this if you want to. Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not. Right. So he looked down on his own birthright, like, what is this good? What is this gonna do me? What good is this gonna do me? But Genesis 27 and 36, and he said, Is not he rightfully named Jacob? For he supplanted me 2 times. Now, a deceiver and a supplanter are 2 things. First and foremost, a supplanter, he's not going to lie to you and tell you that thing that you have in your hand is worthless. Why don't you give it to me? He didn't do that. You see, Esau didn't see it as something worth, even though he knows throughout that whole region, even the Hamites knew. That's why the Hamites treasured their firstborn also. So when their firstborn were killed, they was distraught, you know. And their firstborn animals too, they also valued that. So, and the Most High killed exactly that one, the firstborn, right? So a lot of people, not just Mizraim, but all the other nations, they valued the firstborn and the birthright and all these type of things, right? They did do that. But Esau was just different. Just like Cain, he wanted to sacrifice fruit instead of blood, because he wanted to do it his way, you know, because, you know, that's what he does. Anyway, we do a fruit sacrifice, but that's for the Feast of Fruits, if I'm correct, where we give up the first crops. We give it up to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. I think it was given it to the Levites, something like that, or we burned it, something like that. Sorry about that. But we do have some sort thing like that. But other than that, when it comes to sin and all these type of things, sacrifices and all that, it's blood. But anyway, we don't do that no more. Hebrews chapter 10 shows you that, and the Lord Yahushua is the reason that we don't do that no more. And the Heavenly Father, he never really liked that anyway, because an animal can take away your sins. Anyway, so supplanting again is not it's not a deceiver. He just replaces you, but you know the worth of that thing that he persuaded you to give to him. But Esau is a deceiver. He lies to you like, oh, that thing there's worth. Oh no, it's nothing, man. Give it to me. I'll throw it on the way out, you know. Oh yeah, thanks, man. Then I don't have to get up and carry this heavy load of gold here. Nothing, man. That's nothing, man. I'll throw it on the way out for you, mate. And then he runs away with it. He doesn't even have to run because you're deceived. He just walks away with it. So every time now you have gold, you call him like, hey man, I got some gold. You want to throw it away? Oh yeah, give it to me. That's a deceiver. He deceiving you. He's lying to you. Anyway, Jacob didn't lie to him. He supplanted him. You know, because he well, you could say trick. But then here it says, and the blessing he did steal. That's something else. But it was already prophesied before he did that anyway. Genesis 25. The first shall be subject to the second, something like that. He shall serve. Oh yeah, the first shall serve the younger. So Genesis 27 and 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. So he was waiting till Isaac died. And these words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebekah because he couldn't keep his mouth closed. And she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said unto him, behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, doth comfort himself, purposing to kill thee. Basically, he's trying to make himself feel good by killing you after what had happened. You know, because he said that he taken away so he what? He supplanted me 2 times. He took away my birthright. Well, he gave it away. And then he took away the blessing. Okay, I'll give you that one. But the mother actually was also opinion. But it's all good, man. Put it on Jacob, man. Yeah, like a real man. The woman didn't do nothing. She had nothing to do with nothing whatsoever. Anyway, so it says right here, let me see here. You can read this for yourself if you have the time. It's going into that Jacob was afraid. Where is it? It says it right here. Oh yeah, great here. He was greatly afraid of Esau, sorry. And Esau had like 400 men with him. Why is it not coloring? Wow. Okay. Esau had like 400 men with him, so he was kind of afraid. He was afraid. But the Most High comforted him by giving him that dream that they talked about. You know, that dream. And also, let me see here. I have seen the face of the Heavenly Father, and he fought with the angel too. So when the title says here, the man that fought with God is actually the angel. He fought with the angel. I haven't watched this entire video, by the way. This movie, I haven't watched it. You know. Anyway, not entirely. So let me go back to over here. Right. Okay. So Genesis 33:1. There's where they met. That's where they met. Along with Esau, along with the 400 men, they met there. And yeah, you can read the rest for yourself if you have the time. So just to show you that this dream was not really like all that. Well, the movie. Sorry, man. What am I talking about? The movie was not really all that. I think he slept here or something like that. I don't know. But you don't see him with the 400 men because the budget probably didn't allow them to. You know, the money budget for the film, because they would have to pay all the 400 people, and they wouldn't do that. Esau can get away with making it cheaper. He will. But yeah, whatever. Okay. Sorry, my beard. So now it says here. So again here, let me see. Jacob, Job. I think it was this one. No, then this one. Then therefore. Wait a minute. This one? Nope. Okay. So now when it says here, Deuteronomy chapter 23 verse 7, it actually says Syrian. It says here Syrian. I did other videos on that, so I don't know if I need to go up in that to prove it to you. I can. Let me see here. Deuteronomy 23 verse 7. The word here Edomite, Hebrew 130. And then it says here Edomite, right? But then it tells you here, so this is the Strong's definition help legend. And then it says patriotic name for Hebrew 123, which is here 123, which goes into Edom, as you can see right there. Edom, Edomites, Idumea. But the fact that the word Idumea is in the Old Testament as translated into the English but the Old Testament is Hebrew. What the why is there see what I'm trying to show you? Why is there, I know why, it's this stupid question, but still, why is there a word translated from the Greek into the English, but the Old Testament is Hebrew English? What are you doing? What are you doing right there? What are you doing? He's tricking. He's deceiving. He is making it to where the people that would read the Bible in those days, they would not know, like, huh? What is that? I never heard of that word. Well, it's only 4 times in the Bible, and there's no information on it whatsoever. That's Edom. It should have said Edom, but it doesn't, and it didn't. I don't know if it's in the new translations, actually. I never looked it up, by the way. In the other, Bible Hub, I never looked it up, actually. But anyway, so Hebrew chapter 7, verse 26. If you click that, then it says here, a clerical error 430, Hebrew 130, and Edomite as in the margin Syrian. You see how confusing they write it? It's beyond confusing how they write it. They don't write it as normal people would be able to read, right? But it says here, a clerical error. So what is a clerical? A clerky. Clerk. Let me see. A clerical error is a clerky, a priest, a person that, you know, you could say it's a scribe. A scribe is a person that writes. So they would then therefore say that it is Aram, Syrian and all that there. And if you read the book of 2 Kings chapter 16, yeah, then you would read like, oh, that is what happened. So what happened? But it's not an error. An error is something that you fix so that it doesn't, so that future people that reading it wouldn't be confused. But if you put it on purpose there and then in fine print say, oh, it's an error, that's not an error, that's deliberately. But then if you go dig it up, then you will find out like, oh, it's an error, so why don't you fix it? Because it's not an error, that's why. Right, so here you have the book of 2 Kings chapter 16, and if you read it, you will see Rezin, king of Aram, right? What did he do? He actually was ruling over Edom. Why? Because in 1 Kings chapter 9, King Solomon, he took over Eloth, and he took over Ezion-Geber and the Red Sea from Edom. So 1 Kings 9:26. And King Solomon made a navy of ships in Ezion-Geber, which is beside Eloth. These are the places of Esau, on the shore of the Red Sea in the land of Edom. So the Red Sea is split into two places, by the way. You have, let me see here, this one. So you have here, you have the Red Sea of Esau here, right? And then you have the Red Sea of Mizraim. It's two of them. Well, it's just one actually, but yeah. Back in the days, they didn't call it the. This one is the Gulf of Suez, and this one is the Gulf of Aqaba, if I'm correct. Yeah, Gulf of Suez and Gulf of Aqaba. Yeah, Aqaba and Suez. It's just the red, because it's the Red Sea. This is the Red Sea, and therefore this is the Red Sea, motherfucker. It's just the same thing, but you know, they named it different and all that. This is the Gulf of Suez, but actually that's not the Gulf. This is the Gulf, because this doesn't exist. They hammered it here, you could say. They made it. It's a canal. It's a man-made canal that is going up toward the here. The Suez Canal route. So back in the days, they used to go around the so-called Horn of Africa, and then they just drilled here, and now it's much shorter. Less money spent, less time, and less oil, because they go here to take the oil from here, and not just oil, spices from India, just everything that you can imagine. A lot of things, wood, you know, for their fancy houses, even IKEA, but their fancy houses in Europe and stuff like that, you know. In America, don't forget America. And then you have the other one here, which goes to the port of Rotterdam. They go from here, which is whatever the hell, you know, they do. But yeah, to this one over here, and then from this one here. They have all these routes. They have these routes. But you might think like, why don't you just go through here? Boy, you know a lot of how much money that would be. And they're on the roads. Or else you would have to make roads. And that's going to cost them a lot of money. And second, you can get ambushed here on land. On water, you can't. Well, they can try if they want to. But you can see them. You can see them coming a mile away. Pirates or whatever. You can see them coming a mile away. So they wouldn't be able to hide. Here they could hide. Plus, they're not going to do that. It's too much money. They're not about that. They're about fastness and trying to get as much as possible away from you. They're trying to steal as much as possible. But enough of this. Let me go back to over here. Now it says right here, basically, so they were there, and then he had a lot of shipment because King Solomon had a port, like the port of Haven of is the biggest thing of the world, because they make a lot of money over there. 460 million tons of cargo, 14 million whatever. Anyway, the point is that They make a lot of a lot of money that comes in here. And that is what King Solomon had. He had the port that was there because we took over the land of Edom, beat the shit out of them, and then controlled their port. And they couldn't do anything about it, right? Because King Solomon had that power to the Heavenly Father. But then, when King Solomon died, eventually we started to lose power, eventually. And here in, for example, here in 2 Kings 14, you had he slew the Edomites, and then here, he built Elath and restored it to Judah. After that, the king slept with his father. So after he died, so listen, we had it in the time of King Solomon. We lost it after King Solomon because, we started fighting within each other. We started losing wars and all that type of stuff. And then later on, he came back. The king, I forgot his name, sorry. He came back. And let me see. Yeah. This is the David descendant. So he came back into following Yahweh Bashem Yahusha to a certain degree. Not perfect, but the Most High still made him win the war again against Edom, and he took it. And then in the time of 2 Kings chapter 16, sorry, yeah, 2 Kings chapter 2 Kings chapter it stayed 14. 2 Kings chapter 16. Okay, now Aram was then the power over Edom. So what did he do? Verse 6. So 2 Kings 16 and 6. And at that time, Rezin, king of Aram, recovered Elath to Aram. So what did he do? He put the Edomites in there. But there was a few Edomites. There was a few Aram people also there. Like garrison soldiers and stuff like that. So it says, and drave the Jews from Elath for I think the third time now. Or this, I just showed second, so I'm going to say second. But if I'm correct, it was the third time. We got kicked out of that land because we started to lose wars. We started sinning and stuff like that, And Aram, and drove the Jews from Elath. Sometimes it's spelled Eloth. And sometimes Ezion Geber is spelled Ezion Gebar. Or Gaber. One of those two. Yeah, you can look it up if you want it for yourself. So going on, and the Aramites came to Elath and dwelt there unto this day. It also is the Aram people, they brought Esau, they brought Esau into that land, and you can catch that here. So if you go to 2 Kings, that's why it's very important to read stuff and just check up the history and all that type of stuff so that you can explain it better to the people that are willing to listen. See, buy the truth and sell it not. How are you going to buy something that is not able to be sold? Well, time is money, right? Okay, so just listen. So going on, and here you can see it that they changed the thing from the time to time. They changed the wording from time to time. So here in the King James Bible it says, at that time Rezin, king of Syria, recovered Elath to Syria. That's what he did. He did do that. And drave the Jews from Elath. And the Syrians came to Elath and dwelt there unto this day. Yeah, they did. But here it says it, and let me see. Here it says it correctly more, actually. Also, I should say. Well, let me read this too. Actually, this is correct. He did send Aram there as garrisons. But he allowed the Edomites to actually be there because it was their land in the first place. But they hated Esau. They hated Jacob, and therefore it was a good strategic thing for him to put the Edomites there to check upon Jacob if they would come back and take the port. Because the port, boy, that port was a lot of money. Let me see here. The daily revenue, right? It's like $12 million to 15. This is what 11 to 14 million euros. Okay, cool cat. Right. Sometimes it says 13, whatever. It's just in that region. And then you have the Suez Canal. Then you have the Panama Canal. They're not going to say that of daily, Roughly. Oh, they do that. Okay, cool. Oh. Normally they would only say a year. I know it was a year. Let me see. I saw it a few times, not just one time. And by the way, let me see here. When you see stuff like this, that's not real. That's just approximately the net worth. They don't know. And for example, you have a lot of these rich Edomites, right? What do? They have money on different in different places, on banks and stuff like that. And they also have money in real estate, and they also have money in other people's names. And they do things, okay? So you're not gonna really know a net worth. So same thing here. Just because this one is so-called documented as to be the one, 50 million a day or stuff like that, that doesn't mean that is specifically 100% it. It could be more, it could be less, but this is what they would say on record, right? So yeah, I know that certain places I saw, I think it was Reuters too. Maybe it was another thing. Anyway, I saw 9 billion, sorry, a year in total revenue. Or maybe it was the 2020. Oops, I made a mistake there. See, now it does. See, there it is. I told you. I read it before. No, what am I doing? This is not good. I thought it was said billion. Whatever. I didn't read it good. I thought it says a B. Anyway, fuck it. I don't need that actually. Right? But anyway, it's money. The point is, it's money. If you have these ports, and if you read the same chapter actually, it goes into that. Wait. It goes into that King Solomon was actually getting what? Gold. Where does it say it here? Here, gold. He fetched 420 talents of gold, and he had more things in other chapters and stuff like that. It's just this chapter is individually just talking about gold, but there's other things that he got from there. Right. So Lord willing, I hope you now understand what had happened here with this thing. Oh yeah. Forgot about that one. Whoa. If you go downstairs, well, not downstairs. If you scroll down, it's going to explain, by words and stuff like that. So, Elath, which is the place of Edom, a strategic port on the Red Sea, important for trade and military purposes. That's exactly what King Solomon used it for. Navy, and also gathering things from other countries, like India, for example. Its control was contested by various powers, including Judah, Aram, and Edom. So we had power at one point in time, Aram had power at one point in time, and Edom had power at one point in time. He was the first, actually. But it says right here, and sent the Edomites. So it says right here, at that time, Rezin, king of Aram, recovered Elath, fought Aram. That is the truth. Drove out the men of Judah, because we were there in the time of 1 Kings chapter 14, and sent the Edomites to Elath. But he also sent other Aram soldiers, thinly. And if he was to start something, then word would come back to Aram through the Edomites and also through the Aram people that were there as soldiers and stuff like that, to secure the port, to keep it in their power. And then they would come and fight you, right? The Edomites, descendants of Esau, were traditionally enemies of Israel and Judah. By sending the Edomites into Elath, because he put them back there as in power tip, they had a form of authority, right? Because they were under our authority when in 2 Kings chapter 14. Rezin not only secured the city for Aram, but also endured that Judah would face continual hostility from the Edomites. That's why he put them there. But they already was there. But I mean, like, he put them there as in, you're in charge now, and you're my pit bull, you're my pet. And if you see a Judite trying to come here, trying to make money, trying to put a ship here, bite them, start barking. This move would have further isolated Judah and complicated their political situation. So that's that. So therefore, that's why they refer you to 2 Kings chapter 16. An incorrect reading for Adawamyam. Right. And then the other one was what? Yeah, Adawam. Wait, let me see something. Arawam. God damn it. Sorry. This is Ra, and this is Da. But the Assyrian Hebrew is ridiculous. That's what it is. Yeah, see, oh, that should just prove you I made a mistake by reading Adam. But yeah, so this is here. Let me see here. Here, this is Adamya, and this one is Arawam. Yeah, you might be like, hey, wait a minute, that's not the same. Well, Adamya, if you go down, it says Adawamya, and Arawamya, which is this one. So again, Arawamya, and the other one is here, fully spelled, is Adawamya. So if you then put them side by side, which is I'll do it here. Adawamya. See? The only letter that changed is Ra and Da. And you can see here Ra. And then you can see here Da. Or here Da. The bitches didn't do it big. Oh, damn it, can I click on it? No. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I hope you can see it because it's very small. But yeah, whatever. You know, always in the fine print. Read the fine print. The deceiver. He's trying to supplant you by deceiving. That's not supplanting. That's deceiving. Why don't you just put the truth in front of my face, and then I should decide if it's worthy to listen to or not. Like a lot of these Christians. These Christians, they are willingly choosing to scratch aside everything that you give them, and they still believe Esau. Now that is a supplanter. That is not even deceiving no more. That is a supplanter. Esau became a supplanter. Put your hands together, people. Put your hands together. You know, he finally did something truthful to a certain degree. He made them choose if it's worthy or not. That information is worthy or not. Okay, cool. Let me go back to over here.